So welcome back everyone. I know I have the toughest job of the day to make sure we are all awake for the next 30 minutes. So I will try my level best. And since Payal already spoke about me, so I'm a Kathakali dancer, a traditional Kathakali dancer, and I have also written a Kathakali story of myself in Kathakali, and it has performed in few stages. So let's move forward and see what we are going to see today. So IT in 2016. So Gartner says like this: harnessing the power of platforms as digital deepens. So essentially now it's all about the digital transformation, moving to digital and making sure we are all in that digital era, and Gartner says the same. And we know who Gartner is, so we can look forward to it. And what is meant by that journey onward? So again, Gartner says the journey onward is to digital business. So before the web, it was all about the traditional business which dealt only with people. So it's just people who talk to each other, who do their business, including whether it is CRM or ERP or anything. But then when the web came in, it came through various stages, from the static webs all the way to interacting with customers. And the key elements were the people and the business. So we have the business which we need to deal with to move forward, and we also deal with the people. Now this post-nexus, so essentially with the evolution of mobile, social, web and everything, what happened is, it is not just the people and the business, but it is also about the things. So the need, the entities, they are all growing. It continues to grow, and we need to keep up the pace. So from there, what derives is the bimodal capability. So Abhishek spoke about it in the morning in the keynote speech. So what does it mean? It essentially enables enterprise IT to become more agile and be ready for rapid emerging technology cycle. So again, bimodal IT is a term that was coined by Gartner. So when they found that how our IT systems grow, so they found this is something interesting and relevant. So what bimodal IT essentially means is having two modes of IT, each designed on certain things. So mode 1 is all about the systems of record. So we know that our IT grew through years, several years or decades. So we have a strong system of records that we already have, and we don't want to touch it. However, the second mode comes in, the requirements change, the way we want to deliver our business changes. That is the second mode, which is emphasizing agility and speed. Anything that we need to give next day, it should happen next day, and without touching our system of record. So the impact of second mode is less on system of record, but more on the system of innovation. And what business problems does this bimodal IT addresses? It is essentially the enterprise data integration. So as I said, you have strong system of record somewhere else, and without getting touched that, you should be able to access that in a different context to deliver agile way of incremental features to your product, or even to cope up with the current day, modern day market demands, the web, the mobile, everything, whatever our customers need. And the business automation, so many a times we will have those things that takes typically a few hours to few days to few months. We want to automate and then make it happen in maybe a day, or maybe in an hour, or maybe in 5 minutes. So even if I take an example, we used to have a typical ISV customer or a typical enterprise customer onboarding process, right from the sales, signing on it, until the customer go and access the product. It used to take typically a few weeks, because we have several bodies involved in it. We'll have the sales guy who get the signed contract, and then someone else who creates certain records in some of the backend systems. And from there, ultimately, the URL or user ID password or whatever needs to be generated. then pass that back to customer. Now, we made it in such a way that we have a web UI where you just enter all the details that you got from the customer contract, and in 2 minutes time or even 2-3 minutes time, you have that whole backend systems populated, automated, and you get that URL, user ID, password mailed to customer instantly. So now from the time you signed up your customer agreement, the customer onboarding happens in less than say 5 minutes. So that is the level of business automation that we want. And mobility at the speed of market. So I'm sure most of us will have mobile devices with us, and we access most of our IT systems, our company IT software through our mobile than using our web. So it means Bimodal IT is capable of making all these changes through revamping how your system of innovation, how your system of engagement looks like. So what we are going to see is a case study. So Abhishek mentioned about this case study in the morning, and it's about an airline reservation system in this example. And again, an airline reservation system, if you take a few, this is not the web UI where customers, end users directly go and book tickets. That we use the power of websites, right? Could be Sitefinity or could be anything. And what I'm talking here is about the travel agents who actually book flights for you. So if you are in a company and you have a business travel, you will mail to your travel desk saying that I need flight for so and so dates, and how they interact on a system. So typically they will have large amount of data which is coming from different places, which they can't touch. So that is where that mode 1 comes in. Whereas the mode 2 is nothing but how they interact with the system and then get you what you ask for in a quick manner. So that is a mode 2. And if you have seen, these are some of the typical airline booking, such airline reservation systems that you will see elsewhere for travel agents to use. Even today there are travel agents who use this command prompt based ticket booking system. They have to enter the codes, they remember all the codes, they type the code, and then they get that whatever you ask for, and they have so many commands that they remember or refer to, and then they get that, and then finally get your tickets booked. Or slightly modern version is this desktop-based UI, where they have this software installed on their system and they probably work on it. Again, we know, so the characteristics of these kind of systems are they have a strong system of records, but the challenges are they have a lot of dependencies. Essentially, in either of these two, you have a certain software installed on your desktop which is immobile, or you have to install it on a different system if you want to use it, and you are not getting what you, or again similarly, if you want some changes to happen to that software, it is not very easy because they will be written using some languages, some C, Java, whatever languages, and then incorporating such changes or incremental features are tougher. And third one is, if you want to make use of that existing system of records to build a satellite app. So an example is you have this travel reservation system. From there you may want to have a side app, a satellite application, which will give you a quick glimpse of the statistics of what all employees are traveling on which places, which are more popular places in this organization where they are traveling to, and what are the typical time frames where more people travel to. Assume they want to know that. Building such a feature, such a small app which leverages the existing data is not very easy. So there are so much dependencies that are created using these kind of applications, and a solution for dealing with such applications, or a solution to tackle all these problems that we just spoke about. So one such solution is low-code APaaS platforms. So when I say low-code, typically most of what you want to do can be done with no code, and there will be a few things where you write some code, And then if you really want to customize and do something completely out of what that platform provides, then you will write the actual full code. So it has these three phases. So most of what you want to do, again, 80% of what you want to do will be mouse clicks. And then 20% of what you want to do will be writing some code. So that's a typical low-code APaaS platform. So let's see how to create an enterprise IT application with low code or no code. So I will create a few screens right now, and then in the interest of time we will see an application which is already built for the same problem, the airline reservation system. We will see how it looks like. So this is what is called as Progress Role-Based. So it's an APaaS platform which is a no-code, low-code platform to develop applications and can handle all these kind of issues. It can deal with existing system of records, so you need not have your complete data ported here. You can just connect to wherever your data is and then talk to that data, deal with them. So if I want to create an application, this entire platform works based on the concept of object models. So when we want to create an airline reservation system, the objects that we talk here probably could be the source, the destination, the airlines itself, and the customers who access that system. Probably those are some of the objects that we can think of. And just like any other object-oriented concepts, each object will have their fields. So a source field could be the location, the address of that source place. Maybe it is Shamsabad Airport, Hyderabad, and this is a pin code, how it refers to, and this is where the location of that particular place is. And maybe if it is a customer, it will be details of the customer like the first name, last name, email address, phone number, frequent flyer number, whatever. So let's create one such object. So I just gave some name and maybe the object name. And attributes, so typically certain fields are always used by certain objects. So an example is contact. So in most of the applications you will have one object which will have contact details of some people. So it could be an employee, it could be a bank user, it could be a customer, it could be anything. Similarly, location. You will typically have some objects which will store the location details of certain entities. So again, the location could be the employee's location, where that employee is located, or maybe a company address, where that company is located. So in our example, the location here refers to the details of where exactly this particular source for an airline booking comes from, maybe Mumbai, Hyderabad, and the details of that particular airport. And the destination, maybe one more, the airline customers, those people who actually travel, and the customer may use a contact attribute because it will have the details like first name, last name, and so on. And then let's move forward. Then you can add some additional fields. So we said that by selecting that attribute, you got some fields out of the box, but you may want to add some more fields. So that happens like if I want this airline customer, maybe frequent flyer number. This is something which probably is not part of any default fields. We want to add it additionally. And frequent flyer number, most of the frequent flyer number will have letters as well as digits, so we just chose it as text type. And then in any object-oriented concepts, you will have relationships between objects. So an example is multiple sources are connected to multiple destinations. So there will be flights flying from Hyderabad to Mumbai, Delhi to Mumbai, Mumbai to Delhi, and whatever it is. So the relationship could be many to many. And you can add any such relationships and then submit. So you remember we have just given basic details of what an airline application should have. And what we have here is a bunch of UI screens that are already built with menus, options, and I can add a new source by just creating here the whole UI that I need for creating a source already came in. If you do not want maybe the zip code or country or state or something, you can always go to design this page and then just what you do not want, you can just remove it out. Or if you want something additional, maybe who created this record you want to know, you just drag it, whatever available components. So everything comes out of the box. And the same with other objects. So if I go to airline customer, including that custom object field that I created, all those fields are listed. I can now redesign or so you see here, this is actually the list of records that I want to see, the view page, create page, edit page, delete page, all of those pages are created dynamically and I have not written any code. And all these are done on the cloud. So in the interest of time, let's see an application which is developed using the same technique, same way. So it's a flight reservation system, and compared to those desktop UIs or that command line based UI, the UI is much more contemporary. You have a lot of menu options to choose from, and creating a reservation is so easy. You just go here, choose what you want. Maybe I want to travel tomorrow from Hyderabad to Delhi, and the outbound flight, I choose from the list of flights which flight I want, I chose. And then I went into the passenger details. So I just chose all the details of the passenger traveling. I can add multiple passengers. I can choose seats, whatever I want. And I have other things to do here, the charges, payment details, whatever I want to do. And the reservation is already made. Right now I am not connected to internet, so I will just show you a sample email that comes for this whenever a reservation is made. So I can create this email template which will say the invoice details, whatever we want to see, along with probably an e-ticket. And the ticket template can have the company logo, whatever else that we want, anything that we may want. So those emails are typically triggers. So the moment a record is created, an email trigger has been sent or triggered, which will send an email to the customer whose email address is given in the time of booking. Similarly, I have a workflow in place right now. So the booking may be a hold. It is not completely booked because pending payment is a workflow status. Now when the travel agent gets the payment from the company or from the customer, he just mark it as paid whatever and then save it. And at that moment, the workflow status gets changed to confirmed. And anytime there is a button here for you to cancel that booking if you wish to. So what you have seen in this small application is a bunch of business automation, including workflows, triggers, reports, emails, whatever. And probably let's see just one more. You could also see create dashboards. Again, none of these requires code. So you could also create a dashboard which consists of total earnings of this month, number of reservations this month, or some charts which will say reservations by destination, which is the most popular destination in the whole process. And you can choose the type of chart you want, could be a pie chart, bar chart or anything. And the gauges, all this you have pre-configured gauges. You can choose from the list of gauges and then just configure what you want to be calculated there. So this is a very simple thing, and you have seen even how those UI is created. There is no code written. And maybe in that bigger example that we have just seen, maybe there are some code, maybe to put that image where I select seat and all, maybe there is a small code. And that code is standard JavaScript. There is nothing else. So only for the 20% of what you want to do, you are going to depend on code. That is why these platforms are very powerful and they are called low-code platforms. So to summarize, you have an idea and you want to make that idea into a reality in a short time. And what you do is create all this, no, something wrong happened, and any other business logic that you want, and then you start adding your other analytics, so things like reports, charts, dashboards, and then you may also do your administration work like scheduled batch jobs, scheduled backup, and any such typical activities that you want to do in an enterprise IT application, and then your application is done. Now you may create, so if you take an IT scenario, you may also create another application which uses some of these objects, but not all, or maybe even all, but for a different purpose altogether. So you can have multiple apps created in the same platform which share some or more of these objects internally. So if you imagine an IT department, it could be an employee management application, the leave management or HR application, the work desk application for employees to log work requests. All of these will have some shared objects, and everything comes easily. So I will just say it out. Then from deployment perspective, you can choose to have it either on cloud or on premise. So what you have seen here, if you noticed, my URL was localhost because I have my cloud platform completely set up within my laptop, and then it works.